Here I'm refining a little bit that region. Adding the proper, with them standard, the proper hole for the nose here. Okay. And then from here we can go and make the eyes, just as we did. What is quite weird here is this shape. And the temporal line. Right. Do you remember that I said, like, if we have this format for no, wait, this was too much. Let me just add a little bit of this volume here. You can understand, like, you know, just like this. Here we're gonna add another sphere, because maybe it won't match exactly the same for this new head that we are doing. Yeah, I could even try to match it more like this, but yeah, it also works, but I'm not sure if it's gonna work properly. So yeah, let's try to hide it, the eyes over here. And what I would do here is I will start to bring the volume for making the eyelids, just like this and this, right? Let's remove and leave just the eyes. Like this, right? Then we can start to make the proper proper draw shape for the eyes. And do you remember here that we have a concave and here a convex shape? This would have a bag, and here we can fill with more volume. Pay attention to the lower eyelid. Good. Yeah, you know, maybe these eyes are too much for the back, but I'm not sure if it's gonna works really good. to make it match with that that model behind with the cranium. But I hope you guys understand what I'm doing here and relating with that first model we did. Then start to refine a little bit this part. Not that strong, be careful. You could grab a little bit this lower part of the mouth, more for inside. And then from here is more start to refining the shapes. Always being careful. All right. Here we already start to see some expression in the head, and if we would make an analyze for the chin, let me just refine a little bit this volume for the mouth first. For the chin, we would have kind of this shape, and yeah, so from then we can continue refining the forms and trying to follow this reference from Andrew Loomis for the proportions. Undo here, and yeah, so continuing here, what I actually I'm seeing here is that this frontal part is too big and too projected for the front, so we can start to make it less big, just like that. Also, his mouth here needs to be just a little bit bigger. And one thing that you will remember is that this nose was not into the right place, because remember that we said base of nose, base of zygomatic, and then base of ears. Okay. Before we continue here, let me before we continue to refine the forms here in the eyes, the eyelids, and everything, let's block a little bit more the ears shape. And so after we can continue, here with the eyes that is very half yet. I'm afraid that maybe we're gonna need to reposition the eyes. I don't know. I don't like to, be like restrictive, make some restrictions like that by the position of the eyes. I like to, once I feel the necessity, the need, so I can transpose the eyes. But for this time, let's try to keep on the same place that we have there for the skeleton, the cranium we did here. Just correcting a little bit the volume of the temporal line there, and it was like too big for the silhouette. Notice that I always pay attention to this view here. I do prefer to work into this view than into that one, because this one is mainly the real volume, because it gets the silhouette of the forms, right? So I always do prefer to work like that, and truly understand what is happening with the volume of the things, and not only depending on my perception of this 3D fake. The 3D of ZBrush is very fake, so sometimes it will change your perception based on the material you are using, because it actually fakes the perspective view, so we have to take care about it. Okay, after we can continue with the eyes, let's block a little bit the ears, just how we said. Notice that the ears, one thing that I paid attention is this line, right? If you the character was wearing some glasses, certainly the, how do we call it, this part here in Portuguese, it's called hastes, but yeah, I don't know, I don't remember, but you know, this will create an edge in the semi high of this part of the ears and the corner of the eyes. Okay, so what you can do here is start to make that drawing, you know, remove the volume over this part of the ears, just doing like this. And then do you remember that here we're gonna have the tragus? So just beside the tragus we can make like a cut like this, and then we can add a little bit of the continuation of this helix shape. And then here we can carve a little bit more to make it very thin, as you already know. And inside, what we have to do is to make the anti-helix, right, which have the shape of that Y letter. So where it's gonna be, just right here, right, and then it gonna goes over there, just beside this contour volume here of the helix. Here, do you remember, will be the 9 shape, but as we are working to this side, will not be exactly a 9, but into this view it certainly can be a 9 here, okay, with a Y shape inside. And after this Y shape inside, what we're gonna have is exactly the bow shape, make with the tragus and anti-tragus. Okay, so like the sign, you know, sign of bow. Okay, so here let's carve a little bit more like this, and like here we can carve like a form like of a T shape. So here we can recalculate the Dynamesh once again, and we can make just a little bit of a contour. But here, the position and the shape, we have to refine a little bit more and make the continuing for the shape of bow. And here it's gonna be like this big hole, this big empty space where, you know, it has to be the space, enough space for the character placing the finger. You know, because I do remember once upon a time I was doing a sculpture workshop, and I was sculpting like in the clay, and the character that I was sculpting would not be able to place the finger to how do they call it? I think it's stitches. Let me see. Let me check that. Yeah, actually, to scratch the ears, you know. So because it hasn't had not enough space, it was kind of like that, very close one thing to the other, and you know, you have to make sure that here into this bow shape, this contour, the character will have enough space to do that, to scratch your ears, the ears. Okay, so let me refine this a little bit more. The Y shape inside, which will be called the anti-helix shape, and notice that this tail for the helix will be very close into this region here, Okay, very close to the contour of the whole helix. The contour volume here, I like to leave it very thin shape, right? And from the back I can add this contour line for the shape and then separate that from the head. I could even use this brush, the herb cracks. I'm not sure if I already said about this brush. You can always download it on internet. You just search for this orb without this Q letter before. You can search that and you can always download it. It's a brush made from an artist which is called Orb, I think. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it works like a damn standard brush. I don't actually remember. I think I already said about this brush in this course, but I'm not really sure because I'm used to record here more than just one course, and I also do classes, like online classes, so it may be a little bit confusing for me, but I think we said it about this brush already, and I just dropped the brush into my startup folder there in ZBrush installation folder. So once I start my ZBrush, it already drops here in my brush palette automatically, and I like to rename it and place like a Q before the herb cracks name, because once I press B button in my keyboard and then Q, there is no brush in native in ZBrush that starts with the letter Q, so it would be the only one. So once I press B and Q, it goes directly for the brush I want, in this case the herbs. Okay, so here we have some nice shape for the ears of our character, and always paying attention for those points that we said for the high of the ears. And